Okay, here we go. Looks like things are working. So, welcome back. Another Monday. Hope everybody had a fun, enjoyable, mainly safe holiday weekend. Last week, the 4th was on Sunday. Most people had off Monday the 5th, hence why I wasn't here. I was actually out getting to do some work at the range. We got some ridiculous amounts of rain over the past several weeks and kind of put haywire into most of my projects, but we're getting back on track. So I actually as soon as I get some time to do some video editing, I've got a couple 2 maybe 3 videos worth of footage shot. I just need to stop moving around long enough to put it all together, but try to take advantage of the nice days when we get them, and I'm in the process of learning as much as I can about some things, so when I get into learning mode I go full throttle and completely devote myself to trying to soak in as much information as possible. So doesn't leave much time for eating, sleep, and especially not editing videos. So we'll get them there eventually, but got a kind of fun one where I broke a tree apart, so I'll have to get that put together, let everybody take a look at it. So today I was actually expecting a bit of a drop. Last week was kind of blah, even though we got really good numbers released, and I think Tesla's kind of proven they are doing well even when the world seems to be trying to go against them. But the big news over the weekend was Elon is testifying today in the investor suit that is placed against him for the Solar City acquisition back several years ago. So I actually expected that to kind of weigh down on the stock today, but maybe people are liking what they've heard through some of the news outlets that have released excerpts from his deposition. So we had a really good push off the morning, and seems like once we cracked up, almost got to 683, came back down, teased around 675, and then pushed back up, and looking like 680 may be the new hold spot. So still early in the week to claim that, but if this does hold, we could definitely see 700 by the end of the week. Then again, we could get right back down and drop back below 650. So nobody can predict the future, but right now I am pretty confident in what I saw here. So I'm playing a sell a 675, buy 670, trying to squeeze $1.90 out of it. I don't think it's going to happen, but right now it's floating around $1.65. So we'll see. I was trying to get 180, but then it started dropping fairly quickly, so tweak the plan a little bit. I'm also, if it does drop below 680, I'm probably going to cancel that one, move down, and look at playing the sell 665, buy 660. And right now that's only going for $1.15, but that's kind of my next range if we come back down to 680. That's kind of the mark I'm going to be looking at. Most likely this isn't going to get filled today, so I'm probably going to be looking at trying to jump in on Wednesday, see if I can get something maybe $10 to $15 away from where it was trading at on Wednesday, and see if I can squeeze out at least 150 to 160 per contract. I'll have to do some playing with the numbers once we actually get a few days later in the week, so we'll see. Right now I just want to see us actually hold 680 going into the close. If we can hold 685, that would be even better. So, you know, this is starting those 2 weeks before earnings, when we usually get a decent amount of play around. Let's see, they're still saying that earnings are going to be next Wednesday, the 21st. I haven't seen a confirmed date from like Earnings Whisper yet, so still waiting to get the actual official date. But most likely, that seems typical. I figure if it's not Wednesday the 21st, most likely next day would be Wednesday the 28th. Possible on Monday the 26th, but most likely to be Wednesday 21st or 28th. So keep an eye out for that. If Tesla holds true to what it usually does, this week should be a fairly steady climb up, with more days in the green than in the red. So that's just something to keep in mind. That's the usual patterns that I see between after deliveries are released and then going into the week of earnings numbers. So, you know, most likely Tesla's going to report a positive quarter. They sold more than they did last quarter, and the quarter before that they just keep adding on. So they're obviously getting better at getting the cars into customers' hands. So we'll see. It's coming up, but that's going to be the main catalyst that is going to drive the majority of the trading over the next week and a half to 2 weeks. If earnings are next Wednesday, the 21st, what I actually see happen quite a bit is the numbers come out Wednesday night, and then there's a sell-off the next day. It's like, for some reason, when Tesla has bad earnings, it gets hammered hard. When it has good earnings, it still gets slammed down, just not as bad. So it's one of those definite weird stocks that tends to do the opposite of what you think should be happening. But you know, once you get kind of used to it, you learn how to expect it. So next week I'm going to be looking at something further out of the money, but the hype is going to drive up the option premium quite a bit. So ideally I can find something in the, you know, $40 to $50 out of the money range on Monday, and sell on Monday, buy back on Thursday. Even if we get a $20-$30 drop, I'd still be out of the money, but all the hyped up premium is going to evaporate on Thursday and able to buy it back much cheaper. So this is one of the harder couple of weeks for the strategy I like to play, because the option premiums are usually so inflated in the 2 weeks before earnings. It's easy to get into make like maximum gains on a trade, but you know, if something goes against the norm, you can really get slammed hard. So I'm planning to try and at least get into one trade this week, possibly two, but always try and take advantage of the full week before earnings, and then going into the couple of days before on the week of earnings. It's a nerve-wracking time, to say the least, because things will change daily, and there's no real way to be 100% sure. But that's the game. That's the game we play. So here we go, getting into the last minute and a half and 5 seconds. So pretty close, but I think, man, we might actually hold the 685 going into the close. See what this trade I'm trying to get's going at. $1.65 still. Probably should have kept the 180 on there to see if we get a lucky fill there, but I think to get that we'd still have to come down to at least 680. And I don't know. Now we might get a sell-off a little bit after close. That tends to happen quite a bit lately, but nothing to worry about when you're playing options. I'd usually like to look at the after hours trading and then the pre-market, get an idea of what's happening, but use that to make a slightly more informed decision on what kind of trade I'm going to be getting into for the day. Alright, last 30 seconds. Man, there's enough people in it, it might actually hold on to 685 now. Man, if a lot of people start piling in, we could get a really fast push up to 690, but I think we're going to stay right about where we're at and go into the close. Alright, less than 10 seconds. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And they're going to give us 685. They just keep moving it around. 685.51, not too bad. So definitely wasn't expecting this good of a day. So what do we get up? 4.3%. So that's nothing to be too upset about. Zoom out a little bit. This last week was just ridiculous, with it dropping all the way back down in pre-market, and then, you know, recovered nicely, finished barely up, but, you know, that was one of those times when having a pre-market order in would have been a good time to buy if you were looking to get in a few more shares. So right now I'm not going to be planning on buying anything until at least after earnings. Like I said, even if it's a good earnings, there's a higher likelihood that it's going to drop some after. But there's always something interesting happens on earnings calls, so usually a good idea to check those out. Well, I'm going to say this was a pretty good day overall. Thank you for anybody stopping by, hanging out. I've actually got a whole mess of stuff that I've got to get done today, but wanted to jump on here real quick, say hi to everybody, and just say I hope y'all had a really good 4th of July weekend. So we'll be back next Monday doing it all over again. Last little bit of market open. I shoot for the last 30 minutes, just depends on what else I have going on during the day as to what time I can get on here, but usually try to get at least the last 15 to 20 minutes. Depends. So anyways, hope everybody has a really great week, and come back next week. We'll do it again on Monday. Thank you. See ya.